Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Meeks, and I want to take you on an adventure. And this adventure starts right out here at the end of the runway, and it sounds something like this.
Control Tower, this is Starlord 77, request takeoff clearance. Starlord 77, this is Control Tower. You're clear for takeoff runway 36. Winds are calm. Have a great flight.
Have a great flight? He doesn't even know how great this flight is going to be. Starlord 77 is a B-52. It has 8 engines. As it takes the runway, it weighs almost 500,000 pounds of metal and jet fuel. In the pilot's seat is a 15-year-old dreamer, and he grabs a fistful of throttles and he inches those throttles forward to take that aircraft out onto the runway. As he lines up on the runway center line, in front of him are 2 miles of dashed white lines, and the pilot knows he's got to lift off before those dashed lines end. As we're sitting there, he takes his arm and 8 throttles and moves them forward to the takeoff position. The sound is deafening as that airplane starts to lumber down the runway. As we reach 80 knots, the navigator downstairs starts a stopwatch. In 11 seconds, he counts mark, and the pilot looks down to check his airspeed. What he's looking for is acceleration, and our acceleration is on target. We are committed to this takeoff. The white lines are going by faster and faster. As we reach rotate airspeed, he grips the control yoke, pulls it back towards his chest, lifting the nose up, and that beast of an airplane lets go of its grip on Earth and starts to soar like an eagle. The first question that should be going through your mind is, can a 15-year-old be flying a B-52? And the answer is no. A 15-year-old cannot fly a B-52. So what's really going on there is that in the seat is actually a 31-year-old captain in the United States Air Force who's thinking back to when he was a 15-year-old boy with a dream. That captain, that 15-year-old boy was me. And at the age of 15, I had an impossible dream. And that was to fly airplanes for a living. What's so special about this flight is this flight actually took off out of Darwin, Australia. My crew and I were flying in a military exercise. After takeoff, I can clearly remember, gear and flaps up, I look over at my co-pilot and I realize I'm in control of this airplane. I am flying an airplane for a living. My 16-year-old journey to go from that 15-year-old dreamer to the person controlling the airplane was complete, and I had made it. Raise your hand way up high if you've had a dream and achieved it. I'm looking around and I see almost everybody here has had a dream and achieved it. Can you remember what that felt like? That first impossible thought that I could go this way and do this thing, it seems unachievable. But you took a decision and you made it happen and you got to the end and you achieved your dream. Can you remember what that feels like? Can you? Can you feel the joy, the happiness, the peace, that sense of accomplishment, right? Can you feel that? You know, one of the things that I know is this, is that you and I are here on this planet for the sole purpose of finding and chasing our dreams. That's our true work. And it's an interesting job because you go out and you find one and you feel that joy and you see the next one and you feel even more joy, and you keep going and you keep going. That's our process. You know, it's an interesting thing. A year from the time that I had achieved that goal of flying airplanes for a living, within a year I started a whole new adventure. It was at the age of 32 that I found my true transgender nature and all its blessings. And that started a 20-year journey for my family and I, as I changed my gender presentation from that macho pilot guy into this beautiful woman coach that's in front of you right now. But that's a story for another day. The reason that I'm here today is to tell you that I am standing here in front of you as a dreamer. I've been a pilot, I've been a businesswoman, I'm a spouse, I'm a parent. As of a couple weekends ago, I'm a 2-time grandparent. I was a brother and a sister. I am a dreamer. And you are a dreamer too. You have those dreams and more inside of you. You know, most of us have effectively been trained to believe in this thing called reality. Reality for most of us is this thing where you shove those dreams aside and you concentrate on survival of the fittest. But I'm here to tell you, I'm here to wake you up. What? I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to wake you up. You know, all of you have been effectively hypnotized. You don't know it, but your dreams are inside and they are just waiting for you to wake up. I started with the flight, that memorial flight that I was on, where I realized my dream. That flight ended at night in the weather, flying into Darwin, Australia. It's an interesting process when you have a huge airplane. It's got to land on that little tiny runway. When we look out our window, we can't see a thing. I'm relying on one instrument in particular, because in the flying world there's a theoretical slide right down to the runway. And I have a little instrument. It has 2 tiny little needles. One needle tells me whether I'm high or low on the slide. The other needle tells me whether I'm left or right on the slide. And if I keep those needles crossed, I am sliding down that little slide to the runway. And that night, we flew that slide all the way down. Within seconds of hitting the runway, we broke out of the clouds, and in front of me was 2 miles of dashed white line. And I know that I have to put that airplane down and stop the airplane before those dashed lines run out. As I cross the runway, I take my arm and I pull all those throttles back to the idle position. The B-52 starts to settle down on the runway. Its landing gear reaches down and grips the earth again. At 120 knots, barreling down the runway with 500,000 pounds, it's hard to stop. So I reach past the throttles and I pull the giant steel lever. That drops a drag chute out the back of our airplane, and that starts to slow us down. The chute and the brakes together take us and get us stopped before the dash line ends and we turn off the end of the runway. That was the end of an incredibly great flight. That was the flight where I realized my dream. Can you feel that with me? Can you feel the joy? Can you feel the happiness? Can you feel the sense of accomplishment? Those same feelings are available to you when you chase your dreams. So say this with me as we end this presentation. I am waking up. I am waking up am waking up. Ladies and gentlemen, from where I stand, I can hear and feel your energy. You are waking up.